Can you guys see that? My eye is literally twitching. Okay, we're good. I think. Yeah. Hi, my douchies. Welcome back to the Alchemize podcast. My name is Destiny. I'm your host, and I use the internet as my personal journal where I talk about whatever I want. So today I wanted to talk about an experience that I think a lot of young people on Curacao have. Maybe it's niche to us. I think a lot of people can relate to this one. It's if you think back to the radio era when we were all kids and you had to sit in the car and maybe drive to school or ride back from school and you're listening to your favorite radio station and it's maybe a Friday afternoon and they do the hot top 40 on the radio. And then at some point there was like this happy hour where you get to call in and ask for your favorite song to come on. And then you would call the radio station and you would tell them, or you would text the radio station and tell them the song you wanted to play. And then they would say, this request comes from Sarah. Sarah, here's your song, for example. I remember having that experience and a few times being super excited when they would say my name and then I would hear probably like a Maroon 5 song. Yeah, it was that era. Like either a Maroon 5 song or a song by Adele, maybe? I don't know. Just, the top hits playing at the time back in the 2010s. But anyway, the point of me telling you this story is, first of all, let me know if you guys have ever experienced this, if you guys know what I'm talking about, and if you guys have also submitted some requests. I think they still do this because I was listening to the radio, I think 2 days ago, for the first time in forever, by the way, and they were playing someone's request, and I was like, oh my god, they still do this, that's so fun. I think they were doing that on Dolphin FM, but anyway, I digress. But yeah, I thought about that and I thought, hey, how fun that they still do this. So let me know if you guys also know about this experience or if you've ever submitted your favorite song, and let me know what it was down in the comments below. But anyways, so I tell this story to kind of come back to a question that I was pondering over a few days ago, and that was whether you're a Spotify person or a radio person, and why that matters to understand the way that you're living your life. So let's start with Spotify. If you're the type of person that loves Spotify, it's because, well, especially if you have Spotify Premium. Sorry for the ones that can't afford it. Kidding. I can't afford it either. Shout out to my bestie who has me on her duo plan. But basically, the fun of having Spotify Premium is that you have all your favorite songs, all your favorite music in one place, and you decide when you want to listen to it. You don't have to wait a few cycles before your favorite song comes on. You just create your playlist as you're going and you get to listen to exactly what you want to hear right that second. If in the middle of a song you're tired of the pacing and you just want to hear a different song now, all you have to do is click the next one and you'll have the song that you want to listen to. So that's Spotify. You have control of whatever you want to listen to right at that second, right in that moment. Now the radio is different. The radio is a bit tricky in the sense that you need to choose which radio station you think is going to give you the music closest to what you want to listen to. So when I was younger, I would listen to music stations that always had the music from America playing because that's what I was really into at the time. Still am. I do love me a good pop song or rock music, things that you wouldn't find on all stations, but you gotta know which ones you listen to find the song that you really like. And so you find your station and you listen, and you might listen to 4 or 5 songs before you actually hear one that you really like. And then the dopamine hit of you hearing the song that's like your favorite is so crazy because you're like, oh my god, that's my song, it's on the radio, That moment was always very magical because you've been waiting and you've been kind of, let's say, suffering through the other music that wasn't bad but just not your favorite, and then you finally hear that one song that you've been waiting to listen to. Or maybe while you were waiting for your favorite song, you were hearing other songs that sounded interesting and that you were like, hey, I kind of like this one too. Or a song that you would always skip because you didn't think you would like it, but this time it's on the radio, so you can't really do anything about it. You just have to listen to it. And so you listen to the song all the way through, and then you finally realize that the song isn't that bad. You kind of like it. And so now you have a new favorite song. I remember that being something so fun and something so endearing to my heart to experience, because I've always been the type of kid that if I didn't immediately like a song, maybe in the first like 10 to 20 seconds, I usually discarded it until a large group of people started being like, oh my God, this song is so good. And then I'm like, I only heard like the first 10 seconds and I didn't give it much thought afterwards. Let me go listen to it again. And then I finally appreciate the song. That happened with somebody that I used to know by Goche? I had a friend and she was like, guys, this song is amazing. And I was like, meh, until more people started telling me how amazing the song was. And I was like, okay, maybe I should give it another listen. And then I was like, oh my God, this song is amazing. You know, little follower. Call me a sheep, sorry. But yeah, I realized that with a lot of music. And anyway, this story is going on and on about, you know, how the radio influenced my life. What I want to come back to is that with the radio, you can't choose. With the radio, you just have to allow yourself to go through the motions of all the songs playing, and eventually you might hear one that you like, or maybe you don't hear one that you like, and then the car ride ends without anything special, but there was background music in the car while you're driving. With Spotify, every song is your decision. Every song is exactly what you planned would come. Now, let's apply that to life. If you're a Spotify person, do you sometimes feel like you need to know exactly what your evening plans are going to look like before you can decide on what you're gonna do? Do you sometimes feel like if life isn't predictable, you become anxious and you're not sure if you want to engage in life? If you can't hold all your cards and see exactly how things are going to pan out, does that mean that you won't allow yourself to be surprised? Or if something happens that didn't go according to your mental plan, does that make you freak out? Does that make you go, this isn't the way that I wanted it to go, this is not right, and then you try to force what you wanted back onto life? That's not to say that every person who is into Spotify is like this, because there are people who love Spotify and they allow the music to play, and sometimes, let's say your playlist ends and then you have a song you've never heard of start, and you hear it and you're like, hey, that's not on my playlist, but I kind of like it, you know? So that's not to generalize the Spotify listeners, but I'm only asking these questions because it's kind of the way that my mind has started operating at some point. Because I'm definitely a Spotify person. I love to be in control of what my experience is going to be like, either in life or when I'm listening to music. Even when I'm watching YouTube videos, I sometimes create like small little playlists of watch laters. And then I'm like, okay, I want to listen to a topic about feminine energy first. And then I want to watch a fun video about makeup. And then I want to watch another video about commentary on this or this subject. And so I put them all into like a playlist, and then I watch them while I'm working or while I'm doing my home chores, you know. I don't know, do I sound crazy? Maybe I sound like a control freak, but that's my point. To question whether or not it's quite healthy that we have so much control on our entertainment, because if we try to apply that control to our normal lives, which are hard to control in the first place, we're gonna get some bad results, in the sense that life doesn't really allow you to control it. So when you try, it resists hard and you will have a bad time. And I know this firsthand. For example, I'm the type of person that doesn't like to be late for anything. I like to be on time. I think it's because when I was younger, I was raised in the Netherlands where things are always on time and people are mostly on time. But then moving here to the island, you know, everybody's on island time, which I've gotten accustomed to now. But for things that I find important, if I need to be at a meeting or if I need to be at a certain event that I think is like, I want to make a good impression, I like to be on time, which is good, I think. But I put so much pressure on myself to be on time that I can turn the whole day into a problem if we don't get to be on time. Now, where does that come from? I want to control the outcome. I can't really decide how someone else is going to live their life or how someone else is going to manage their time, but all I can do is manage my time on my own. So whenever I do find myself in a situation where I cannot control everything, especially when it comes to being late, it can get pretty frustrating for me. But once I realized that and started thinking like, hey, I'm so pressed on my punctuality that I'm making myself and everyone around me miserable. What if I just stop doing that? What if I just let go of control? What happened was that sure, we were late, usually by a couple minutes, but nobody died, nobody remembered, and nothing exploded. So basically, the sense of control that I was trying to keep didn't really help my life run smoother. Now, that's not to say to let go of the reins and just let everything just do whatever, because you do decide certain things in your life, especially what you do, but you cannot hold on so tight to the reins that you're not going to allow life to move. And that's what being a Spotify person represents in my eyes, because I personally take it to a place where I don't even allow myself to enjoy new music, because I know what I like, I know what I want to expect, and I know what sounds good in my ears today. So I'm going to keep doing that. I'm going to keep listening to these songs. But if I just turned on the radio and decided that I'm going to explore instead of predict what I already know, I realized that the more I let go of this control of needing to listen to exactly what I already know I'm gonna like on the radio, I noticed that I can discover new music. I noticed that I'm less anxious because the song is ending, so that means I need to choose the next one, and then I can listen to that one. I can just sit back and think, oh, I wonder what's coming next. I like this one, it sounds good. Okay, cool. Oh, I wonder what comes after this one. Okay, I didn't like that song quite that much, but not terrible. Okay, the next song comes on. Ooh, this one sounds fun. And then suddenly, I hear a song that's familiar. I hear a song that I like. I'm like, the radio agrees with me. This song is good. And then I jam out to that, and then it goes back to a song that I don't know. And I'm like, hey, that one sounds nice. Maybe I'll, put that in my little cycle of music that I listen to. And so basically, when you're a radio person, you're more okay with allowing life to unfold as it happens instead of holding on and gripping for control, because you're more okay with not having peak experiences. It's just about having an experience in the first place. Like, there was a quote on Instagram that said, if you consider that the goal in life is experience, everything will feel like a win. So instead of looking at things like a failure or a win in the sense of, did it turn out right? Was it the best experience ever? And thinking of it like, oh great, I had an experience, then it'll all be a win. Even the bad music will be a win because you experienced it. And when someone asks, have you ever dealt with this type of music? If we're still using the radio theory, you can say, yeah, I experienced it. I enjoyed it, or I didn't enjoy it. And this was my experience. And that's the win, that you get to now engage in a world of people who have experienced music instead of just predicted exactly what they were gonna listen to in the first place. And I realize that I'm often pleasantly surprised when I allow life to unfold instead of controlling everything. Because when you control everything, you're not really surprised. You know exactly what's gonna happen. You're glad because it went according to your plan. But at what cost? At the cost of new experiences, at the cost of experiencing something new that you could have learned something from. You robbed yourself of the chance to grow from an experience because you wanted to manage your situation or your experience to the point where you couldn't experience something new. So when you go out into the world this week, just ponder to yourself, am I going to be a radio person or am I going to be a Spotify person? And if I am a Spotify person, am I going to allow my playlist to play out and then allow some new music to come into my rotation? And if you already are a radio person, that's amazing. I need you to teach me some of your ways, because I feel like radio people are so at peace in the sense that they're not planning every step that they are taking. They're allowing life to flow, and that usually takes them to places that they can learn from and teach others from. And I think that's a pretty admirable trait. So that's the topic for today, my love. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I hope to see you guys next time. Don't forget to subscribe. Please leave a comment and a like below so that I know that you guys enjoyed this video. And I'll see you guys next week on the Alchemize podcast. Bye, my douchies.